And we are live. Welcome to the podcast. This is Big Reptile Talk, the place where we have fun, bring on just incredible guests, pick their brains, see what they got going on. But before we start, I definitely want to give a couple shout outs. First, to everybody that is going to watch this, I appreciate you. And second, to some of our top supporters. So, if you get the chance, to make sure that you please check out Venom Proof Cages, some of the best cages in the business. Good friend of mine that makes them. Just please go check them out on Instagram, Facebook, all that. Get you some cages, and of course, my brother from another mother, a awesome supporter of my channel, Ozzy Boyd. He's a legend. Really doesn't need an introduction, but he is a great supporter of my channel. So please make sure you get to check him out. How awesome is that? That I get to flex that logo, man. Ozzy. He gave me the green light. So awesome supporter of the channel. Before we start, we are going to play the intro. So I'll be right back. And we are live again. We have the amazing Miss Miri here. Did I say that right?
Yep, so right.
From MSB Reptiles. Today we're gonna hang out with her, pick her brain, see what she's got going on. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm just tired. It's been a long day, but I'm glad to be here.
I'm awesome, awesome, awesome. I appreciate you doing my podcast. I think, for a lot of breeders, I think podcasts are so important because, it gets you in front of people. Granted, I might only have 2,000 subscribers, but that's 2,000 chances that somebody might see you and want to buy a snake. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, 100%.
You have your own podcast too, don't you?
Yeah, since I moved, me and Zach haven't been able to do much with it, and that's totally been my fault. Moving is a chore and a half, most definitely, but hopefully gonna get back on that. And my voice kind of sounds stupid today. I've lost my voice a couple days ago, so my apologies for that in advance if I sound all squeaky randomly.
Totally fine, totally fine. I appreciate you even just coming. So, how long have you been breeding, if you don't mind me asking?
Been breeding seriously for about 5 to 6 years, a little more, well, around 6 years for the most part.
Okay, so 5 to 6 years. All
Mm-hmm.
right. I see all those containers with the snakes behind you. How many animals do you have right now? The tubs.
I have about 350 snakes right now, right around there.
350 snakes. I couldn't imagine that. I might have close to maybe 10 animals, and of course I'm in an apartment, but you have
Mm-hmm.
350 animals, and that doesn't even include the hatchlings, right?
Oh no, that doesn't include the hatchlings. It doesn't include all the rodents and all that. And this is not where I want to stop. So,
That is crazy. I love it. I love it. Now, if you don't mind me asking, why ball pythons? What drew you to ball pythons?
obviously, I mean, everybody has to have a ball python in their life at some point. I think it's just kind of what you do as a breeder of, I mean, anything constrictor wise, I guess. I started out with colubrids, though. I didn't start out with ball pythons. I definitely fell in love with the monarch gene a long time ago, and that's pretty much what got me the pied and the monarch got me into ball pythons, and ever since I saw it, I just wanted to breed them.
Right. I love
Hmm.
that. I love that. Now how does this make you feel? Somebody in the chat, shout out to HB Reptiles. Miri has some of the nicest ultra males I've ever seen. How does that make you feel?
I don't think that's ever gonna go away, but hashtag Team Monarch for life. Forget the ultra mill. Even Zach can screw off. I don't care.
Now, the monarch, is that your favorite morph?
Absolutely.
Right. That's what's up. That's what I'm gonna tell you my favorite morph. But you know what? I think I need to look for a favorite morph. I really have just started taking ball pythons seriously.
Hmm.
And anybody will tell you my favorite morph is the white and black, the Xanthic. Um, but here recently, I'm just so disappointed because I heard that when that snake gets older, it actually browns out. Is that true?
Depending on the line, and I mean single genes, I Xanthic is one of my favorites too. I mean any adult is really gonna end up browning out no matter what morph you have, unless I mean keep mixing all the morphs and you're gonna have the brightest snake on the planet. But I would say that Xanthics don't really brown out like crazy, and it doesn't turn me off anyway from the gene itself. But all adults are gonna end up kind of browning out at some point, right?
Well, that sucks. If I get a Xantic, I want it to stay white and black forever. I'm pissed. Now I got to look for a new favorite morph. That's hilarious. Now, on my show, of course, it's about getting that knowledge, and we're gonna have fun.
Mhm.
Shout out to Iron Dog Reptiles. He said Ultra Male is a cheap man's monarch. You got to
I
laugh.
love it. Yeah.
Now, I gotta say this, my channel is about getting knowledge and having fun. So I
Hmm.
gotta hit you with the first hot seat question. And we love all the breeders. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Much love to all of them. But who right now is Miri's current favorite breeder? Dun, dun, dun.
That's a tough question. I don't think you can't answer that with just one person. You can't
Yeah,
do
you do.
that.
You gotta narrow it down. Who is your favorite?
I don't know. Along with a lot of other people, and I've said this on many, many podcasts, one of my favorite right now, I'd say it's definitely Tom Harvin is one of my favorites, of course. Or Monarch, yeah, Ultramel. Everybody's getting me to freaking say Ultramel. Swear to God, people are commenting everything Ultramel and Monarch. Harvin is one of my favorites, and of course, you got to look up to Kabilka, and he's definitely getting in with the Monarch. So I'm really liking where he's gonna take it.
Okay. So you said Hardwin and Kabelka.
Yeah, Tom Harvin and Kabilka are some of my favorites right now.
You heard it
Definitely.
first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you heard it first. So we got her to narrow it down. Them is two of the people that she is currently watching. What's up, Nava Reptiles? What's up, Reese's Pythons? Um, you've been breeding, you said seriously for 5 to 6 years.
Hmm.
There's breeders in the chat right now, and we want to get some knowledge. So this is kind of like a two-part question. What do you think the best current incubator is right now? And how do you feel? Give us some pros and cons versus homemade incubators versus store-bought incubators.
I have done both. I actually have a Sea Serpent's hot box incubator, which I absolutely love. And I will probably continue to get those incubators. But the homemade ones, I mean, you really get to customize how you want it and perfect temperatures. There's always room for improvement, I think, on anything like that. So I definitely I like the ease of use of buying an incubator that I didn't have to make just for sake of making up time. But if you're able to make your own, I would 100% say to do it and do it how you want, do how big you want, and it's or even get somebody to customize yours in a facility. I'd say both or either way to go.
Okay. Great knowledge. Now, you've been doing your thing, you said, for 5 to 6 years. You got,
Mhm.
excuse me, I'm drinking this Coke. You've been doing your thing in the game, man. So I
Mhm.
got to ask you this. Are you self-taught or did you have a mentor? And do you currently have a mentor?
I have reached out. I did. I technically started out kind of by myself just because I wasn't near any breeders. But I had obviously the internet and my vast friendships with a lot of breeders in the hobby. So it by no means was I by myself in any of this. I got tons of knowledge from all different breeders in the industry.
Okay, okay. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. Now, I gotta ask you this, man, because you hit up every time I look up, I see you at an expo. I mean, I'm saying
Yeah.
because I follow you. You
Hmm.
at there, you Conroe, Tinley, you here, you there, you
Hmm.
know, you doing what you gotta do. So I gotta ask you this. Can you give us a crazy expo story? And while you're thinking about that,
Oh
shout out to
gosh.
Always Evolving Pythons. And I asked you that because I had Miguel on. I asked him the same question, and he told me that he had a man hit on him, and it was hilarious. He said that he was at an expo, and a guy came up to him and was like, "Hey, after the expo, let's go get some beers." And Miguel likes to drink, so he was like, "All right, cool, let's go have a beer." And after the beer, the guy was like, "Well, I got a room down the street." And Miguel was like, "Whoa, it ain't that kind of party."
Oh, that's great.
So I gotta ask you, you hit so many expos. Do you have any crazy reptile expo stories?
Yeah, I have quite a few. I would say my top um one it's not insanely crazy. Just I mean there's been crazier times. I've been to Arlington, Tinley, Conroe. I mean all the NARBCs. I'm waiting to hit a Cali show and I think that's going to end up being one of the crazier times for me since I'm from California, but um, an Arlington show. I think it was in 2019. It was a fall show, and it was me, Venom Life, and a couple other people who were hanging around in the pool. There were a group of flight attendants that were out at the hot tub, and we always hit up the hot tub on Thursday and Friday nights. We got pretty wasted at the bar as we were chilling in the hot tub. People were bringing us drinks, and so me and Brent from Venom Life were hanging around in the pool and the hot tub. And when one of the flight attendants came over, he was wearing a jock strap as a bathing suit. So, like, yeah, this dude was in love with Brent, absolutely infatuated with Brent. Brent being the great, like, people person that he is, he kind of was like, "Oh yeah, like let's hang out and all that," being nice to him. The guy ends up kind of like tugging on Brent's beard when he had a beard at the time, and like just kind of dragging him around in the pool. And there was another flight attendant who I was hanging out with. One of the girls, they didn't want to go to bed, and they said that they wanted to hang out with the reptile people because apparently we were all getting crazy. I don't remember a lot of it, but yeah. So he's dragging Brent around, and Brent finally just had kind of enough of it, and we went and sat down inside at the bar for a little bit longer. I don't remember who ordered the shots, but somebody ended up ordering tequila and fireball shots, and somebody made me laugh as I was taking a fireball shot, and I laughed, and fireball came out my nose. So yeah, there's a seat I always sit at the Arlington bar because that's where Fireball came out my nose. So sorry to everybody who's ever sat there after that happened.
You know, I love hearing stories like that, man, because that's really what this hobby is about. The
Hmm.
reptile expos, making money, selling stuff that's cool, but it's just so much more, that camaraderie, what goes on
Hmm.
behind the scenes. It's just so much fun. Like I can't wait till I can hit up go to an expo like that and hang out with everybody.
Exactly why I go. I tell everybody who's getting into the hobby or who's continued to do it, go to the shows. It is some of the best times you will ever have, ever.
Right. Right. Shout out to DG Reptiles. He said you got to get Brent on. Shameless plug. I already had him on Venom
I
Life.
was
I'm
gonna say I thought you
everywhere.
had them.
You know what I'm saying? I'm everywhere, baby. I'm networking DG Reptiles. You got to get with it, brother. I'm just kidding. Much love to DG Reptiles, man. What's up, Eric's Morph Factory? Now, this is a hot seat question. I feel like you're killing the game right now. Right now, to me, I I don't know if I want to use that term, but I'm gonna use it. I feel like you're the rookie of the year right now. All eyes is on you. You killing shit. So I'm asking you that to say, hot seat question: if something happened to you, Lord forbid, and you weren't here anymore, and
Mhm.
somebody wanted to make a movie about your life, and we called it the breeding queen, the queen of breeding. Who's playing Miri? Anybody in the world? Who's playing
Oh
you?
goodness, I suck at names, and God, I don't I that's like the worst question you could ever ask.
You don't know no
Um,
actors, huh?
not a ton, no. I really don't know. Just some maybe what's her freaking name? Just she's a redhead. She just played Cruella. What's her?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I watched that movie with my wife. She actually just commented Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
can see that. I can see that. The Miri, the breeding queen, featuring Scarlett Johansson. Okay, I'll pay to watch that. I'm watching that. Now with you, killing shit you're doing. You've been breeding for 5 to 6 years.
Mhm.
I want people to come here and get a little knowledge. So can you give us some tips that you use to reduce slugs?
Oh goodness. I honestly I haven't had that like I haven't had that bad of luck with stuff like that. I guess you could say if you want to call it luck or whatever. I haven't found anything tried and true other than just making sure temperatures are right and the correct breeding. If breeding goes through and you notice slugs, I tend to kind of um try sail away from using specific males or females for that reason. But I think that's about it since it's it's not new to me for the breeding, but I sure as hell haven't spent 10 to 15 years with getting females that haven't given me good clutches. Like all my first time females, I've been lucky enough, knock on wood, that they've either given me just very small clutches or just kind of weird bumpy eggs once in a while, but I've only had one female ever slug out so far.
Okay. You can't
Mhm.
beat that. What you hear that? She said she don't get slugs. She don't need no tips. She ain't getting slugs. If you're getting slugs, step it up. No, I'm
I'm
just
not,
kidding.
yeah, no cockiness aside. Yeah, I have been very, very lucky with my females so far.
I know that's right. I know that's right. My wife actually said that lady's name was Emma Stone, not Scarlett
Yeah,
Johansson.
yeah, yeah. It was Emma Stone. Yeah.
And Benjamin, you cutting up. He said, Derek, you smashing it, looking good in a snake pea yellow. Folks just be cutting up on my podcast. Now, I gotta ask you this. A lot of snake breeders they come out with their own morphs, and Ozzy he has the Orange Dream. Kabelka did. I'm still learning, but I know he did the Batman. He did
Hmm.
this. Um, MSB reptiles. Are we gonna get that Miri custom gene? Is it in the works? So you can't say it.
I'm working on a lot of stuff. I am trying to put as much of my favorite morphs to Monarch as possible. I don't think I'm gonna end up on the crazy seven gene train for a little bit, but that's just because I'm experimenting a lot with single gene things with Monarch since not a lot's been done with it. But there will definitely come a day that I'm gonna have something special in my hands for
That's exciting. You heard it first on Darren's
sure.
Reptiles. We gonna get that Miri custom morph pretty soon. You better be on the lookout for it. Now, talk to me because and I don't want to sound sexist, and don't get me wrong. There's lots of women in the hobby. Talk to me about how has it been for you being a woman in the hobby? Do you feel like you've been welcome? Do you feel like there's been a lot of sexist people? You don't have to say names or anything, but just
Oh
talk to
yeah.
me about just the hobby as a whole and coming into kind of like a male dominated, culture. How does
Right.
it feel being a woman in the hobby?
Lately, it has been 100% the best decision I have ever made. I have had so much support from so many people in this industry. There's always a day or two that you get like the weirdos who are just I don't know, like, oh well, you're a female, or they'll kind of pass over you to talk to a guy if you're standing with a guy in the hobby or something. That happens quite a bit at shows. Since I've become a little bit more known, it doesn't happen a lot unless it's from like a customer just coming to the show who's not really in the industry. Um, but I've been very fortunate to have very caring people in the industry backing me up and raising the bar and showing that the females have definitely been coming out of the woodworks to take the guys for a run for their money. So,
I
yeah.
love that. I love that. Now, I know you say that you just moved. Talk to me about like the future of your company, MSB
Mhm.
Reptiles. And what I mean by that is, a lot of us, we start in the house and we graduate to that. We all want to graduate to that Kabelka $1 million facility. Are you currently in a facility right now, or is that something you're working towards?
I am working toward building a facility. I was originally planning on building something when I first moved to Texas from New Mexico, and that was only 2 months ago. I originally wanted to buy, but this market has been absolutely terrible with buying. I can't even find a building right now that I can go rent out for the animals. So I do have everything in my house currently, but I'm hoping within the next year that I'm gonna buy and I'm gonna build, and it's gonna be huge. So
Right.
I'm hoping for a pretty big building to start with to be able to expand off what I have now, so at least 2 times the size that I have, and then I'll eventually grow more, or I want to.
I know that's right. So you crushing it. Now I feel like you are known. People know you. She's already a beast. Give this girl a year. Exactly. I agree now for reptiles. Now I got to put you in the hot seat. This is a hot seat question, and then we'll get some knowledge. Um, I feel like a lot of you bigger breeders, that make designer snakes. You make those $3,000-$4,000 snakes. Y'all are making, you're making Prada snakes.
Mhm.
So I like to give people names, and we're gonna play a game. So, for instance, JKR to me that's Louis Vuitton. Ozzy Boys to me that's Gucci. You know. MSB Reptiles. I love the stuff that y'all doing. You got to give me like a store name. Where do you think you at right now? Good
Bulgari, for sure.
Coach.
Bulgari.
Bulgari? Okay. I
Yeah.
like that. They got some hard watches.
They got a Serpenti collection, so that is my favorite. I have Bulgari purses and jewelry, and it's one of my favorites, so for sure that.
I love that. I love that. Bulgari. Now, gotta give us some of that, gotta give us some of that knowledge. We sponges, we soaking up knowledge from Miss Miri. Um, give us a for like the new breeders out there.
Mhm.
Let's say I'm a new breeder,
Mhm.
and it's my first year. What do you think a good clutch goal is for a new breeder?
Clutch goal as in amount.
Well,
Sorry, say that
like
again.
we're like ball pythons. Let's say I'm.
Mhm.
How many clutches do you think is a good goal for a new breeder?
That's a good question. It really depends if someone is completely and 100% prepared for all of those snakes to come out and they have the right rack to put them in and everything. I'd say just what you're prepared for and what your goal is. If you want something big, go big or go home. It's
Right.
I don't think it's based on size for sure. As long as you have the knowledge and good mentorship and good support, I'd say keep it to where you know that you can take care of it. But as long as you can, then do it. Go big or go home.
I love that. I love that answer. Now, with you having 300 plus snakes, do you
Mm.
feel like to be successful, breeders have to breed their own rats?
I think that is a great idea. I have done that for a long time. Moving here kind of halted my rodent breeding project, and I hate buying from or having to go and get live feeders for my picky eaters that have to have live or anything like that. I would 100% say breed your own rodents if you have the capacity to do so because it makes it a lot easier. I think you feel a lot more proud of your projects in that way too, that you just have all of the stuff in house and you know where it's coming from.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes total sense. Now you crushing it in the game. So can you tell me about a goal that you just smashed? Now we not bragging. We just say, hey, this was a goal and I killed it.
I would say just small, like just being able to get everything coming from in-house, like the rodents, and knowing where everything comes from, and getting all the locks that you can, and just seeing the success that you put so much work and research into, is one of my favorites. Just to know that, like, this is my full-time job also. So I put my entire passion into this, into all my projects. I think that was my biggest goal for myself, was to just get self-sufficient and turn it into a full-time job. That's my favorite part of doing all of this.
I love that. I love that. Now, talk to me. What's your take on egg cutting? Do you do it? Do you frown on it? When do you do it? Talk to me about it.
I'm on the fence. I think that anybody can do what they feel is right for their animals. I'm creating these animals and I want to give them the best life possible. If I can help that along a bit, it may, like others will say, that it may kind of weaken genes a bit at some point. I'm not completely sure that's true. I'm not a scientist on ball python egg cutting, or an expert by any means. I wait until they start pipping, and I give them about a day or two around, and then I'll start to just give them that little bit of a cut to allow them to push through if they really need it.
Okay, okay. Now, you said you've been in the game for 5 to 6 years. So can you
Mhm.
talk about just the longevity? It's not people see that, you're selling $3,000, $4,000 snakes and they think that they can hop in and make that money in a month. Talk about just the longevity. And now don't tell me how much you make, but can you talk to me about how long before you were actually starting to see profits with your business?
A lot of people know that I actually bought into the Monarch project by buying out the founder of Monarch in the United States. It takes a lot of understanding of the importance of the projects, I think, and there you got to be in it for the long haul. It's not an overnight profit. I've paid back a loan that I had taken, technically, for the I didn't like go to a bank and take a loan or anything, but I ended up getting the money for it. I paid all that off already. You just have to have a good head on your shoulders and understand that it can take quite a bit of time to pay all this stuff back, especially with feeding the animals and everything. You're I never expected a profit. I gave myself a 7-year goal to be able to make profits back, which I've already done within a year. But that was just a lot of hard work. You got to make sure that you have your head in it. Otherwise, you're just going to be completely disappointed because it's not an overnight thing.
Right, right, right. So you said you gave yourself 7 years. You said, "Look, I'm gonna do this for 7 years, and if I don't make a profit after 7 years, I'm done." And then you killed it.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't that I gave myself that the 7 years and then I'd cut it, but it was like, what, I'd say it's gonna take about 7 years, just from my original expected like goal. I didn't want to try it and overdo it, or just kill like any income that I'd make and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this done in 2 years. I started out with a degree, and I assumed that I was going to be doing engineering jobs until I could get the snake stuff up and running. But I don't even use my degree right now just because of how much this exploded. So it was very, very lucky that I've gotten to what I've done. I wouldn't say lucky. I worked my ass off for this stuff, and I'm very proud to say that. So it takes a
That's
lot of
just
work.
that. That's inspiration. I love that answer now. And I say that because that's my catchphrase. I'm getting ready to put out some shirts that say I love that answer. So, I gotta, make my brand, I love that answer,
Hmm.
Um, with us being in the reptile hobby, we have a lot of eyes on us. I
Hmm.
just had the president of USARC on,
Yep.
so make sure y'all go support USARC. Do the reptile bans scare you? And what do you think of what do you think about them? Do you think they'll ever get to where they'll be banning ball pythons?
It's already happened a couple. Well, it's been an attempt to happen in a lot of areas. So yeah, I think you need to be, anybody in the industry needs to be worried that their entire livelihood could be taken away from them just because of lack of understanding these animals. That's why USARC needs to be 100% supported in any way, shape, or form. And I'm someone who likes to travel a lot and move. I never stay in one spot for too long. So I want it to be a thing in each state that I think I may move to, that I'm able to take my animals with me 100%.
Right, right, right. Now,
Yeah,
I got a plan to get the eyes off the reptile community. Do you want to hear it?
absolutely.
Now, but see, here's a catch though. I'm not gonna tell it to me. I'm not gonna tell it to you unless you say that you'll help me and participate with it. You gotta help. Say, just trust me. It's a good plan. Say, Derek, I'll
Okay,
help you
I'll
with it.
trust you. I got
All
you.
right. So my plan, you only need two fingers. Okay. Now, this is my plan. And it's real easy. This is gonna get the eyes off the reptile community. And I do it all the time. I do it. Okay. On my way to work, when I'm driving, before I get to work, I might look over at my peripheral vision and I'll see a dog in the gate, two fingers. I get out the car, unlatch the gate, let the dog run out. I get back in my car and I drive off. Now, see what I'm saying? Think about it. If you have 1,000 loose dogs, what do the news have to report on? The dogs or the reptiles?
Oh, gee.
See, two fingers. That's it. Just unlatch the gate, whoop, and go.
It would work. I don't think it's a good idea, but it'll work.
Hey, it doesn't matter if she says she's joining. So we need at least three gates for Miri. Just unlatch the gate and drive off. That's all you got to do. We'll be good. Now, I got to ask this because like I said, I want people to come here, have fun, get a little knowledge. So, can you give us some tips that you use when you got a male snake that won't breathe? It could be slow music, could be dim lights. What are some of your tips?
I for my males that haven't been wanting to breed, I usually keep them. I'll put them. I have a rack specifically next to my females that I keep open, and it's right next to all the breeding females. So it's one where I put the males in with them. I've had a very good success rate, which I don't remember who told me this to do this, but I'll put my males in that rack somewhat temporarily. I'll let them skip meals when they need to, and then sometimes sheds will work. But keeping them next to the females and the breeding females, when I put other males in there, seems to be getting them going. Which I don't know of many people who do that, and I really can't remember who told me to do it. But I've gotten a lot of my hatchlings that just didn't want to, once they got to size, just didn't want to breed, and I put them there. It works. It's interesting. I don't know if it's pure coincidence or what's actually working, but it's worked.
Okay, excellent, excellent knowledge. Now, give us some knowledge. Can you tell us the specific time frame that is good and is best for breeding? And I mean like a specific month to month. What are the best months to start your season?
I've always bred year round, so that's whenever my males and females come ready, I pretty much put them together, which kind of keeps me on a good hatching rate throughout the year. But I definitely say I started um, pairing around October when I originally started. I usually pair starting in October and November, and we'll get babies obviously not too long after. But that's been my most successful time of year, is starting to pair in October and November.
Right, right, right. Okay, there you go, you guys. That's good knowledge. That if it's working for her, try it. See what's going on with it. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm jealous. I want to be a breeder, but I can't. You know why?
Why?
Because I would be horrible at it, and I'm gonna tell you why. And my wife even understands this. I said, honey, I want to get into breeding. You know what she told me? She said, no, don't do it, Derek, because I'm gonna have to sell the snakes. I was like, you're right. Because let me tell you something. If I start breeding and I have a clutch of 8 ball pythons, I just got 8 new snakes. I'm not selling nothing.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I just had a male pastel Mojave sugar monarch hatch, and I wanted to sell him. I said that I was going to sell all the babies in the clutch. I had 8 in that clutch, and I hit every gene in that snake, and he turned out to be a male. I'm like, man, I just like I don't want to let him go because he's just too sweet, and he just like he'll pop his head right out of the tub and just kind of like he's just super curious, and I'm like, man, I just want to keep him, and I've had a million
Right?
people tell me to just sell him, but it's so hard.
Like my wife told me, she said, Derek, I would have to sell the snakes while you're at work. I said, yeah, you probably right. Um, Shout out to HB Reptiles. He has a question. He wants to know, do you ultrasound?
I want to. I don't have one yet. I don't have an ultrasound machine yet, but I want to. It would definitely pinpoint a lot of mysteriousness of knowing whether they're taking or not. But I've been recommended a bunch of different ultrasounds, and I would definitely say if somebody wanted to, it's a good idea because it'll cut a lot of worry time down, and knowing if your females are breeding or not, or taking or anything like that. So.
Right, right, right. I don't know. She could see the comment. He said sell Casper.
I named him, so he's staying with me. That's the pastel Mojave sugar mon. He's not going anywhere, Zach. Shut up.
Right, right, right. Now, talk to me about herping. You know, us in the reptile hobby, we love going herping. You know, I can't wait to go again. I want to,
Mhm.
go herping, find some stuff. This is a two-part question. And if we were all billionaires, where would you herp in the world? Anywhere in the place, and who would you herp with?
Australia for sure. Um, I would have to say, I don't know. It's a toss up between people who I've gone herping with, which would mostly be Brent and Woody from VLG, or Ryan McVeigh, who somehow finds literally everything when he goes herping, no problem, doesn't miss anything. He went herping on his way back from California to the Arlington show, and he got my lifer snake, which is an ornate blacktail rattlesnake, and there he found it immediately. I still haven't been able to find one, still on my own, but of course he got it like just driving down the road to Arlington. I'm like, man, whatever. I'll take McVeigh any day.
Okay, okay. I have to see if I can try to go herping with them. Shout out to Venom Life and Viv Tech Products. Two amazing
Mhm.
guys, two amazing companies.
Mhm.
I say that, maybe they'll sponsor me. Um, Talk to me, man. And this was a while back, but this is to inspire people. I want people to come here, get knowledge, get inspired. Talk to me about, do you remember your first sale? And talk to me about the emotion you had, how happy you were. Like, this is my dream. I've made my first sale. Do you remember it?
I remember my first sale, I guess technically, was a pet of mine. I don't remember breeding my very first clutch, but I do remember my very first monarch sale, and that's when I felt the proudest, and I had gotten the one thing done that I had really wanted to do. Just by the first thing I wanted to do when I started as a breeder is to just breed monarchs and sell them, and it was a pastel monarch female, and I was just so elated and excited, and I just felt like I I achieved one of my life goals that I wanted. So it was one of the best feelings I've ever felt. And every single snake that I sell today is the same feeling.
See, that's humble right there. My first snake, I loved it, and every single snake is the same feeling. We gotta
Hmm.
now on the count of three, we gotta say my catchphrase together. We gotta say, I love that answer. One, two, three. I love
I
that
love
answer.
that answer.
There you go. There you go. I'm gonna have to see your shirt. I love that answer. Now, hot seat question. And we're gonna this determines if we keep the interview going.
Oh no.
Um, iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
See, I love it. See, right, that's what I'm on right now. I just got my iPhone 13. All you Samsung
Oh
users,
shit, I need one so bad.
it came out on the 24th. My wife was so
Mhm.
mad. Me and her got up and we went to the store at 6 in the morning, and because the store opened at 8. I was like, no, I got to be first in line. I want it now, instantly, instant
Mhm.
gratification. She was pissed, but she did
Oh yeah, I'm not a morning person. I feel her pain 100%.
it. Well, I love that. I love that. Now talk to me about being on Morph Market. For the new breeders out there, how do you go through the flakes on Morph Market? You know, the people that, or is there a way to get through the flakers on Morph Market?
I would say that that has a lot to do with your knowledge of the industry. Getting to know and buying from good friends in the industry and supporting their businesses, I think is really important. And of course, when you want a snake and there's only a certain like person working with them, but I think it kind of weeds itself out if you're very active in the industry. You don't really need to worry about that when you get to know breeders more. And I think it's really important to know the breeders and where your snakes come from first, than to just go out and buy all these random snakes.
Right, right, right. Now, shout out to High Desert Pythons.
Hey, Antoine.
Um, I feel like you're crushing it in the ball python game. Do you have desires to breed any other species?
Yes, so many. I'm dipping my toes into venomous. That's gonna be hopefully something that I can breed for myself when it comes time. There's a lot of Asian colubrids that I like blue beauty rat snakes are some of my favorite. Timor pythons are another one of my favorites. I like the more rare snakes, I guess, so to speak, than not all the different morphs. As much as I love monarch and all the different morphs of ball pythons, the true wild types of really cool species I'm drawn to a lot.
Okay, okay. I love that. I love that. Now, with you, you know, you're of course you're an amazing woman in the hobby, and I feel like there's so many amazing ones. Talk to me about a woman that you just admire in the hobby, and there's tons of them. You got Precious Pythons,
Yeah.
you got Lori Barchek, Savannah
Hmm.
Bone. It's just tons of them. You know, is there any women that you just really admire in the hobby right now?
Definitely Precious, Brittany Gobble, Marita. The list goes on forever. All the women in the hobby, I'd say, are just killing it. I don't think there isn't one that isn't right now. It's that list is way too long. I'm pretty good friends with Marita. I love her to death. I love what she does. I love that she works with tarantulas. Just the women are killing it. That list is way too long. You're gonna have me on here for like 3 hours, 4 hours at least.
I love that. I love that. Now, I got to put you in the hot seat. You know, we got to see how good Miss Miri is. So, with you having 300 plus snakes and you're breeding year round, constantly pulling clutches, how many bites do you take pulling
Oh,
clutches?
every day. I That is one of my favorite things is when those snakes come out of the egg biting you. That's all I can ask for. They're great eaters. I'm the weirdest person. I like getting bit. I don't know. If a snake bites me at the show, I'm like, you know what? You're coming home with me. I like the attitude. I love attitude.
You you know something that tonight I got to go home and work with one of my boas.
Hmm.
He tries to kill me every time I take him out of his enclosure.
Yeah, I'll take hatchling bites and not huge snake bites, no problem. I don't want to get bit by my retics. I've been tagged by my retics that are really good eaters and just come flying out of the cage or their tub or whatever. I'll try and avoid those really big bites, but the hatchling bites are just too cute.
All right, well, like I said, when I reached out to you, I like to keep my interviews short and sweet because, like I said, I know people are busy, and that leaves time to where maybe in 2 or 3 months I can have you back on and just see what you're up to. Because, like I said, this is a fun podcast. We get a little knowledge. We have fun with it. Can you tell people where we can reach you at, like on Instagram, Morph Market? What's your handles?
I have a personal page on Instagram, which I don't care if people follow me on there, but I have an MSB Reptiles Instagram. I have Morph Market. I have my own website. I've been kind of slacking on my website due to the move. So my apologies for that. So Facebook, obviously, pretty much everything under the sun. It's all MSB Reptiles.
I know that's what. Isn't that a website? You sell snakes on there too?
Yeah, I list on there. It's a lot more about the history of Monarch and kind of where it came from. I own the rights to monarchball.com. That was originally created by Rance Meyer, who originated in Monarch gene. It just kind of tells the story of where it came from and how Monarch ended up popping up out of a random clutch of pastels. So that's why I keep that up there for the most part.
Amazing, amazing. So she said, "You don't even got to go to more. Come, we love Morph Market, but come to my website and buy some snakes."
Oh, I 100% on Morph Market. I love my website, but I keep my Morph Market up to date a little bit more than the website. But yeah, I like having it.
I know that's right. Well, before we go, like I said, hopefully in the future you're down to hop on again to talk reptiles with me. Everybody in the comments, we definitely appreciate you. If you comment, Derek, you're amazing right now. 40% off everything at MSB Reptiles.
Mhm.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. She said, no. Well, I'm
Mhm.
totally kidding. Ignore that. But she is a good sport. I said 40% off. She said, You're a good sport. I'm totally kidding. Disregard that comment. But again, this is Big Reptile Talk. We're getting ready to head out of here. So before we leave, I want to get some shout outs. Shout out to my wife for letting me participate in this amazing hobby. Shout out to my animal house, Iron Dog, Kurtwood, High Desert Pythons, Nava Reptiles, everybody, DX, everybody in the chat, fully envenomated, Benjamin. Venom Proof Cages, just everybody, DG Reptiles, Ball Python Love, Kurt, just everybody. It's HB Reptiles. Shout out to everybody. Go follow them. We all trying to grow on YouTube. This was an amazing podcast. Don't go anywhere. I'm getting ready to go backstage to thank you one more time. Okay, so I'm getting ready to play us out. Don't go anywhere. All right.
Okay.
What an amazing stream. Miri's freaking amazing. We're gonna get her on again before we go. Make sure y'all check out Venom Proof Cages. Make sure you check out Ozzy Boys, two amazing supporters of my channel. This is Big Reptile Talk. We out of here.